Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Secrets in the shadows, lost and found. Truth in every echo, loud and clear. Keep on with the long road, no more fear.
Hello, welcome to The Long Road. I'm your host, Chris Roberts. I may sound a little fuzzy or whatever. I had to have a tooth taken out this morning, and causes your lip and everything to be a little swollen for a while. But that's not much of a big deal. Just to remind people, next Tuesday is primary day in the state of New Hampshire. Keene has 5 voting wards, and each ward has its own place to vote. And again, Democrats get Democrat ballots, Republicans get Republican ballots. Anybody who's undecided or not declared or as independent, I can't remember which title they use, different states use each one, is, for example, if I go in, I'm undeclared, and I says, well, you know what, I want to take a Republican ballot because maybe I want to vote against candidate X because candidate X has a good chance of beating someone I want on the Democratic side. So people do that. They do one way or another to vote. Some of them do it to manipulate the game or whatever. But if you're independent and you do not stop before you go out the door after casting your vote and change back to independent for the next election until you go and change it, you are stuck what ballot you picked up Tuesday. So hey, if you're a Republican who says I'm independent, and so you pick up a Democratic ballot and you vote for it and you don't go back and tell them I want to go back to independent, you will be forever a Democrat unless you see the city clerk and say, I want to change. And so I've seen it a number of times where people come, oh, I'm voted John Smith, I want to get my Democratic ballot, I want to pick up a Democratic ballot. And they go, nope, you're a Republican. No, I'm not independent. Nope, you voted Republican and you never changed it. Okay. One of the things that really, really disturbs me about politics is how they can go in and look at us with a straight face and lie. Or they say, no, we misrepresented it, or we misspoke, or whatever, or you misunderstood what I said. They lie, they manipulate us, and we fall for it. And if you look at the people like in Congress, when you look at the Senate, the average age is over 65. The average age in the House of Republicans is like 55. Okay. For people running for Congress and Senate, their number one priority is to get elected. Then their number 2 priority is to stay in the position they were elected to. And look at them. We've got people there 20, 30, 40 years. And so what happens is they get together and they're worrying about protecting their positions. So what they do is they can wipe out a whole generation of people that wanted to take part in politics. because we talk about the baby boomers, Joe Biden, Mitch McConnell, the Nancy Pelosi, they're not baby boomers. They're from the silent generation. They weren't born in 1946 or after. Okay, to be the oldest baby boomer, you got to be 78 years old. That's the oldest. But we have guys and women up there that are older than that. We've had some people in Congress for almost 40 years. Okay, part of leadership is creating new leaders. But we've got these groups both on the Democrat and the Republican side. They're not, like I said, what they want to do is maintain their position of power. And you get good people with good intentions, some of them will get elected, and then some of them will say, this is BS. I can't do this. My personal integrity and my moral standards do not allow me to do this. So they quit. They say, nope, I'm not running. I can't. I don't want to change myself. And so when you look at the Congress, the Senate, even at the state levels, okay, for a long time, if you were from a wealthy family or you had the benefits that a lot of other people didn't have, you were expected to join the military. You may get a cushion job in the military. Al Gore Jr., his father was a senator. He became a senator. But Al Gore Jr. Did go to Vietnam. Even if he was just a public affairs officer, he went to Vietnam. Joe Kennedy went to war. John Kennedy went to war. Even Pat Robinson. Pat Robinson, yes, he was in the military. He was in the Marine Corps, but he used connections so he didn't have to go fight in Korea. People find connections, but they always basically said, I'm not running for politics unless I do my duty to my country in the military. Teddy Roosevelt, he didn't have to get into politics. He was in the Rough Riders, he's conservation, creating national parks, doing these things. Got shot, assassin attempt. I think it was in Milwaukee. He did. He felt that he had all these advantages in the United States, and it was his responsibility to pay back. Abraham Lincoln served in the service. Look at a lot of our generals, that's presidents and senior politicians that did great jobs. They served in the service. They felt that they had to serve our country, and then only after they served our country, they took what they learned and everything, and they went into politics to clean up stuff, to make a positive impact. And one of the things, military, whether it's Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, or Army, at the end of the day, they knew the mission had to be accomplished. The mission wasn't the Democratic Party. The mission wasn't the Republican Party. The mission was the American people. So they could argue all they want, but when they came down, it's like, what are we going to do for the American people? And but that started to change after the Vietnam War. And we said, hey, we're not going to do it. George Bush, pilot, very young, gets shot down in the Pacific, rescued by a submarine. Ronald Reagan, yes, he was in there. He was making movies, and he was making NEVD films, telling the soldiers, don't go here, don't bring something home to your wife. Jimmy Carter, submarine, nuclear sub. John Kennedy, PT-109, President Johnson, I think he was a lieutenant commander or commander in the Navy. Then, look what we got. Then we got a series of presidents. Yes, we have Baby Bush, who was in the National Guard, back and forth. They do that stuff. Then Clinton was not in the service. Obama was not in the service. Trump was not in the service. Biden was not in the service. But there was a lot of waivers during that. So, bingo, we now have a group of people that are going, we have really, really good people in the United States who could make a positive impact on our country and to keep us from doing really stupid things, wasting money, hurting people, getting people killed, padding people's pockets. But no, good people do not want to associate with substandard people. And so good people say, you know what? Hey, I can do this over here. Yeah, I'm making far more money than I would working for the government, but I can keep my integrity. I can do things. I don't have to go in and say, oh, 35 years ago, we had this film of you were doing this, or you were doing this, or we dug up an email that used the word queer. But you go, hey, that's an acceptable word today, but it wasn't an acceptable word when you said it. So all those things, and so what the politicians and the group that elect the politicians, the small group that has billions of dollars, the small group that says, hey, Joe, you're out of here. We don't want you. You're out. Harris will go. Now, so basically, yeah, Harris had it easy. She didn't have to go through any of the primaries. A small group says, Harris, you're going to be it. The other groups go to the different state committees. This is who you're going to vote for. This is who you're going to vote for. And this is who you're going to vote for. Okay? No leadership. No leadership at all there. That was total manipulation to get someone they wanted. Do I feel sorry for Joe Biden? No. He's manipulated things to get in this office. He just said, hey, if you vote for me, I will put a black woman as my vice president, and I will put a black woman in the Supreme Court. Okay? He put a black woman in the Supreme Court. She is doing a very good job. He put a black woman as vice president. Hey, she backstabbed him. So he was using her to get a lot of the black votes, and he no longer was of value, so he was thrown out the door in the perfect Machiavellian exercise. But what we really have is, I got a number of things. Okay, immigration, illegal immigration, regular immigration, and people throw all numbers around. There's so many. You got people going, no, this is immigration bad. Bang. When Trump did it, this. When Biden did it, this. It's going. When anything happens, it happens for a reason, and the people who are going to benefit facilitate it. And as far as immigration is concerned, we're talking about coming over, illegal immigration and stuff. If we wanted to stop it, we could stop it. But there are people on both sides of the aisle who realize, you know what? The people that want us in office want these people. So what we do is we talk about it one way or another, but the Republicans say, oh no, I really don't want this, bang, bang, bang. The Democrats, most of them stay quiet. But I went and got this report. First I went and there's a story from CNN. CNN says we need more migrants. And so but need more migrants. And it goes, Eddie Martin can't build as many houses as he likes in Texas because his contractors don't have enough workers, particularly skilled trade people such as electricians, carpenters, and plumbers. Okay? That's really nice what he's saying. This labor shortage, exacerbated by aging workforce and a growing number of retirements, means it's more critical than ever for the United States to allow more, but they put legal immigration into the country to bolster the ranks of the construction industry, said Martin, CEO of Tilton's Custom Home Builders in Austin. We are losing business. Martin works with 300 contractors to build homes for teachers, police officers, firefighters, and others in the middle class. Well, with 500 units currently in the pipeline, but now he has to tell would-be clients that it will take 14 months to complete the job instead of 9, which prompts some of them to walk away. If the contractor could boost his workforce for a third, he said he could probably build another 175 homes a year. Okay. Particularly skilled trade people, electricians, carpenters, and plumbers. Okay? He says electricians, carpenters, and plumbers. Normally you would put it alphabetically, but he slips in the word carpenter in the middle because anybody can be a carpenter. There's no exam, no nothing. You just do what you do. But electricians and plumbers have to be certified. They have to be licensed. After all, you don't want a plumber or electrician building you a new house and they're not certified and they don't build your house to electrical code, plumbing code. Okay? Then he goes, where's he go? He's the CEO of Tilton's Custom Home Builders. If he's a custom home builder, there's a really good chances that teachers and police officers and firemen and nurses are not going to have the enough money to buy his houses. Second, excuse me, the United, there was out there, and I was reading, it says the Democrats have to prove an economic reason for this immigration so to fight back against the Republicans. Well, here was for the testimony of Stephen A. Camarata on illegal immigration in the U.S. labor market. And this was the hearing for the Subcommittee on Health, Employment, Labor, and Pension of the Education and Workforce Committee. And this was done September 13, 2023. So it's almost a year ago. And basically the reading, I think, the person that wrote this, he was more slanted against the way President Biden was handling the immigration and the numbers they get in a bunch of time. In certain cases, he used comparison between Trump and Biden. But as I was reading it, I learned a lot of extra stuff. Okay. There's 49 million immigrants in the United States as of September of 2023. 49 million. Okay. So that would mean 1 out of every 7 people in the United States now, or 15% of the people right now, is an immigrant, which was not born in the United States. So you can go, wow, if you're an ultra MAGA bingo, or if you're a white nationalist, or you're a skinhead, or different ones, you can get really upset. You'll get fixated on that number. 49 million people in the United States as of last year are immigrants. Okay? But when you dig down, 40 million, this was last year, September, 40 million of those 49 million immigrants are legal immigrants. They're legal. They came into the United States, where they were given asylum, given refugee status, or they came in, they were accepted because the United States accepts a whole bunch of immigrants from around the world every year. Okay? So, next, you go and see a picture of immigrants or migrants or illegals, whatever you want to call, whatever you're comfortable with, at the border. And you go, hey, some of the people, and I've heard it, ooh, look at those lowlifes. Look, they're slimy. They're just coming in here to get welfare or this or that. Okay. That sounds like good. But when they did the research, 18%, 1 out of every 5 illegal immigrants have a bachelor's degree or higher. 1 out of every 5 has a bachelor's degree or higher. 13% have been to college, but they haven't completed college. So 31% of the illegals, the immigrants, the migrants have either been to college, have at least started or finished college. Then all of a sudden, that doesn't look like, but if I get a college degree and I find a way to come to the United States illegally, I'm not going to commit crimes. I'm not going to do I'm going to just try to blend in. Okay? It says 69% of the adult illegal immigrants have no education beyond high school. 69%. So when you start looking at that and you start comparing, we get at least 60% of the people in the United States who haven't gone past high school. Okay? When we go and look at the illegals or whatever, I'll just call them migrants because it's easy to just say that. For the illegal migrants to come here, this is for 18 and above, okay, they're not all, as you would say, bottom of the barrel people, or people are just trying to get away. A lot of them are basically, if they're coming from these countries, 1 out of every 5 who has at least a bachelor's degree, some masters, some doctors, some are medical doctors, some are scientists, PhDs. These are middle to upper class people from the countries that they were coming from. And where do most of these illegal migrants work? They're heavily concentrated in lower wage, less skilled jobs, such as construction labor. And in this one, the guy down in Texas is on CNN, wants carpenters. He wants carpenter assistants and stuff. And then they're in jobs like construction labor, building cleaning, maintenance, food service prep, groundkeeping, retail sales, and food processing. The guy goes, however, the vast majority of the workers in these jobs are still U.S. born or legal residents. So, yeah. So what he's saying is we've got United States born people that have gone to high school, graduated from high school, and because of they may have only graduated from high school maybe at a 6th or 7th grade reading and writing level. They're a high school grad, but these are the jobs that they can do. Were we expecting that? No, but that's what happened. Do we talk about all the illegal migrants that are working on the farms? Oh yeah, they're coming in, they're working on the farms. Farm workers comprise less than 1% of the United States labor force. and less than 5% of all illegal migrants work on farming, agriculture, or dairy. And so I'm going, wait, bingo. These are not the numbers the politicians go back and forth. It goes, in 1960, 96% of U.S.-born men from 25 to 54 with no more than a high school education were in the labor force. Yep, you could drop out in 1960s, 70s. You could drop out of school at 14, 16 years and just go to work. There were plenty of jobs available, and then a lot of the jobs were moved overseas. Factories were moved down south. And so, yeah, you could say 4% of the men in 25 to 54 are looking. By 2000, it fell to 87%. In 2023, it was just 82%. Okay? We can say, oh yeah, blame it on the migrant bank. Well, no, you could blame a big part on the United States education system. We had a pretty good education system, and then we went to a phase we didn't support it, we didn't need it. And so we had people graduating from high school. The numbers look good. Yep, 98% of our kids graduate from high school. Do the 98% of the kids that graduate from high school read and write at a 12th grade level? Can critically think? No. So because of the education system, as technology improved, then there was less physical labor, less manufacturing labor. These 25 to 54-year-old men couldn't work. We did away with the coal mines. We did away with a lot of crappy, dangerous jobs that we employed these men from 25 to 54. Those jobs did not disappear because of migrants. Those jobs disappeared because it was decided that we did not want to support education in this country. Why? Because a lot of businesses learned from after World War II and the GI Bill, and the people became more educated, they required to be paid more. And so that's why you go in from 73 to now, basically, yes, the money goes up, but in constant dollars, the last time I checked, it was only about a $1,200 growth in 50 years. And then, we like to talk about illegal migrants climbing the wall or running through a hole in the fence, things like that. Do you know that for fiscal year 2022, 850,000 foreign visitors did not leave the country when they're supposed to. Their visa retired, or they graduated from college, were supposed to leave, never left. They don't know where they are. 850, almost 1 million of the illegals came into the United States legally We said, okay, here's a 9-month visa. You go to school. Come and see us after 9 months so we can make sure you go home. Oh, yeah, by the way, we're not going to track you down. So quite a few didn't do it, and that number is growing. In 2022, basically the overstay rate was 3.6%, which is double in recent years. Of course, not all those individuals stay long term, but there is already some number of people who leave the country, but their departure wasn't properly recorded. Okay, so where do the illegal migrants end up? The illegal migrants comprise 5% of the American workforce. 5%. So hey, basically if you see 20 people working on a construction job, there's a good chance at least one is illegal. And if you've been in Keene the last 10, 20 years, you would see a number of projects where they've had illegals working. Okay? The number one job for illegals, plaster and stucco mason. 31% of plasterers and stucco are illegal, 27% are legal, and native born is 42%. So basically, they're saying it's 14,800 plasterers and stucco, and almost 11,000 of them are illegal. Graders and sorters of agriculture products. 30% is illegal, 32% is legal, and of the 27,000 people who do it, 21,000 are illegal. Drywall stores, 28%. Agriculture workers, animal breeders, 28%. Pressers, tile, working in the garment industry, 26%. Roofers, 24%. Sewing machine operators, 22%. Painters, construction and maintenance, 21%. Carpenter, floor and tile installers, 21%. Maids and housekeepers, 20%. Okay. In these cases, people, the owner, the business, or whatever, a lot of them are making a lot of money by having the illegals. If I'm doing a house and I'm doing drywall, and basically almost 1 out of every 3 is illegal, and I go, hey, if I pay them $15 an hour, but I don't take Social Security, I don't put workman's comp, I don't do any of those, I'm saving a lot of money, because if I hire a legal or U.S. born, and then I'm paying them $20 an hour, I'm paying workman's comp, I'm paying health care, all that kind of stuff. So one of the big reasons people migrate here, because there are jobs available for them, and they have jobs what businesses make out. And the thing is, I saw this happening in California when I was there. They would bring the El Salvadorans in, they bring them at night, they would do the plastering, they did an unbelievable job and go. But the money saved was never passed on to the person that was going to be the new homeowner. That money saved went into the pocket of the builder or the builder's company and shareholders. And so when you look at it, that's why we're having this mass or groundswell, is because both political parties are being supported by donations that want these workers. They want them. Like New Hampshire, okay? New Hampshire does not require you to e-verify the people, the workers. So if I have a company and someone comes in, he has a social security card that works, I run it through the e-verify thing and it comes back bogus, stolen, bingo. But here in New Hampshire, you don't have to do that. Oh, bang, 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 I'm such and such. Here's a social security card, bang, bang. Yep, you're hired. And then if they come in, Homeland Security, Immigration, hey, I didn't know. He gave me this information. So if the businesses were against illegal immigration coming in and working for them, all they do is e-verify. Hotels and a whole bunch of places, they like immigrants, legal or illegal, because they can pay them a heck of a lot less. Okay? What I did was bring this in. I'm not saying I like illegal immigration. I'm not saying I support it. I support legal immigration. I support people coming in doing it. But the system, the way the business is working, they like illegal immigration because illegal immigration increases their profit. But the problem is, if I have a company and I hire 20 people from illegal immigrants and they have a family, the law says, Keene School District, you have to pay for those kids. If they don't have health care and they have to go to the emergency room, they have to get that. So again, it's kind of like Walmart and some of these businesses not giving enough hours to get health care and allowing the government through Medicaid, other health insurance, food stamps, subsidized housing, so making the local taxpayers pay that so Walmart can maximize their profits. So we have companies who are taking advantage of the system without paying any of these employees normal benefits. Okay? And both Republican and the Democrats understand it. They know how the game is played, and they play back and forth. And then it's like some of those old cartoons, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. They've been fighting, and it's like, oh, each one, people look at them, yeah, they're really working hard to defend us. And then after it's all over with, let's go and have a beer, bud. And so we get snookered. And they do it. Okay. We'll move on to another one. We're talking about, we have food gouging. We got to reduce the price of food. We have to prevent the food price from going up. Okay. My second degree is in social science. A big part of social science is economics. Okay. So it's one of these. Before COVID, it was all about gaining market share. Okay. So say my building and the people I have can produce 20 widgets. Okay. I don't start breaking even until I make 6 widgets. And every other widget I make more money and more money and more money. Then I get to widget 13. Widget 13 is my maximum profit. So number 13, so if number 6 is bingo, I make a quarter and then 50 cents and 75 and keep going up. At number 13, I've maxed it. I may be making $3 profit for going to 13. But when I make 14, I only make $2.75. To make 15, I make $2.50. And so as I make more to the 20, I don't make as much money on either one of those. So I go in and say, hey, but before COVID, I would make all 20 because I want to get maximum market share. But maximum market share does not mean maximum profit. I decide I'm going to make 21 so I can be number 1 in the market, but I may lose money on number 21. And people go, what do you mean? I might have to hire more people and build another factory. But market share. So what happened is, with COVID and all the other stuff, they said, hey, you know what? I don't want market share. I want the maximum profit. So all I have to do is make 13 and I get the maximum profit. And you know what? I'm going to lay off all these people that helped me get to 20. I don't need them because I'm not making as much. And the other part is, once I get to 13 and I'm selling 13 at $10, but then I got 14 and I got 15 and I got 16, I'm flooding the market, and then I may have to sell them at $9.50. And if I keep putting more, I may have to sell them at $9. And I go, So now, no, I only make 13 and I'll sell my 13 at $10 each. I'm not going to reduce my price, reduce my profit just for market share. So you see companies now, hey, you know what? You want to do it, you do it, but I'm not getting involved in market share. And so because you do that and you get your maximum profit at a certain level, that's what a lot of companies are doing. They're going to that level and staying there because they know if they produce more, just like, hey, if I produce 1,000 eggs a month and I can get 50 cents an egg because the market says 1,000 eggs, but I produce 1,200 eggs, the price of the eggs are going to go down because I have 200 extra eggs, And people who would not buy eggs before now buy eggs because instead of 50 cents an egg, I have to sell all the eggs at 40 cents so I can sell all 1,200 and not have any waste. And so the first 1,000 people get a price reduction so I can get 200 more customers. That's the way it was working. And I'm going, wait a minute. I lost 10 cents on each egg just to sell 200 more to people that wouldn't buy if the price wasn't that low. And so that's what's happening. People are not going out and producing a lot. You go to the stores, you see some empty shelves and stuff. You can create market demand by having empty shelves or having a few. And when there's market demand, it keeps the prices up. And when we complain about price gouging and everything, you know what the average profit margin on a grocery store right now? 1.5%. 1.5%. You can go to Hanover's and start at $18 an hour. Okay? Quite different than a couple of years ago when maybe 10 or $12 an hour. We go and says, well, you know, the CEO of food market such and such got paid $5 million. Yo, $5 million, that's ridiculous. That goes compares to, or even the Home Depot, he got $26 million. This guy got $40 million this year. And they go, And we're arguing and saying he's getting 323 times the worker, and if he reduced his salary, food prices would go down. Yeah, they may go down, but even if he reduced his salary for $5 million, $5 million spread over all the businesses and everything, not much of a change. But I was reading that Pat Mahone, Kansas City Chief, he's getting $64 million to play 17 football games. $64 million. And no one said a word. Almost on his contract, $500 million on his contract. Hardly anybody says a word. What has Pat Mahone contributed to American society, American quality of life? We, the taxpayers, pay for Pat Mahone because Pat Mahone is a business expense. That $64 million gets written off as a business expense. That reduces the individual's, the owner's tax. Ohtani, Dodgers, he signed a $700 million contract. Who does he give jobs to? What does he do to produce jobs, to do a whole bunch of things? So if he has a 10-year contract, so he could be getting $70 million a year to play 162 baseball games. If his arm is fixed, maybe to win 10, 15 games and hit 40 home runs and steal 40 bases and help the Dodgers sell out. Well, the owners of the Dodgers are doing pretty good. And again, there's a business expense. But people don't seem to care, or politicians don't seem to care when, bingo, I pay this guy $65 million to play 17 football games, but you got to pay $45 to park. If you want to go get tickets, you got to go to StubHub or whatever. You can get tickets way up in nosebleed section for like $400. You can get a $12 beer, $8 hot dog. Okay? But the politicians don't complain about that. They don't complain. And some of them will go, look at Buffalo. They're arguing back and forth. A multi-billion-dollar stadium that was basically going to pay by the taxpayers. I think the only stadium that was not paid for the taxpayers was Gillette Stadium. It came out of the owner's pocket. These owners are billionaires who help donate to campaigns, and they get their businesses get all these different breaks. What do we say? Nothing. There really is not, yes, you can't say no, but there's very little price gouging. Okay? The prices went up. During COVID, salaries went up. Okay? Those are up. Insurance costs goes up every year. Healthcare goes up every year. Taxes go up every year. Okay? So, who do you blame? Well, we're going to have the politicians go back and forth. Well, we'll put a cap on this. We'll tell these people they can't buy houses, and we'll help. They are trying to, quote, convince us they know how to solve the problems that they created in the first place. And they know they can't solve them. And they know if they tell the truth, they won't get elected. We as people are guilty because what we do is we believe what we're told. I'm a loyal Democrat and no Democrat lies, and only MAGA people lie. I'm a loyal MAGA, and these Democrats lie. None of us talk to each other. None of us think about what other people are going or think, wait, maybe they're right. Oh, no, we don't. We have been conditioned not to think, do what we told, vote what we're told, and oh yeah, you want to feel part of the campaign? Give me $3, then give me $5, give me $10. Oh, you're really important. No, you're not important. It's just extra money. If people donate $3 to the campaign, it greatly increases the chances of them voting because they feel that they contributed, and it's really wrong to go and vote for the other person if they contributed to this person's election campaign. We are not taught to think, and what's happening, like I'm saying, look at the quality of people that we have in elective office. So I've been on the city council. I came back. I've been on the city council 10 years. I was up in the state house for 12 years, 2 of them as a committee chair. Been on the school board 20 years. Elected 7 times, and not elected, I failed once. Okay? I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff that is, because when I went into politics, for the old timers, I was naive. I thought the politics was like Mr. Smith goes to Washington. Yeah, they picked Mr. Smith because they thought he was just going to be a lapdog and do what he was told to do. But Mr. Smith says, I owe my loyalty to the American people. All politicians, if they want to get elected, if they're unwilling to spend their own money, have to give up part of themselves for that money. They have to realize if someone is giving you money, they expect something in return. Well, I funded all my campaigns. I've still got checks that I've never cashed because I didn't want to owe anybody anything. I just wanted to represent the people that elected me. Like I said, when I went to politics, I wanted to be like Mr. Smith goes to Washington. And it's frustrating. And I look at it. We, you, our kids, our grandkids, our great-grandkids, we deserve better leaders. And if we can't think, or we're unwilling to think, we're never going to get better leaders. Because every election, when the quality goes lower, that means more people will say, I'm never going to get involved in politics. The good people, the people who say, okay, I'm going to be mayor for 4 years so I can make, or this. Politics was never supposed to be a career. Go up to the State House and see how many people have been there 20, 30, 40 or more years. Go to the U.S. Congress. Go to the Senate. Go to the presidencies. Look how long they've been there. They call it a career. A career politician, they're distorting the truth to us. And you got to start asking, okay? When you go next Tuesday to vote, ask some of the people that are standing there, what does that candidate they're supporting really like, and where they stand on moral and ethical issues. Well, that's all for this week, and make sure you go out and vote next Tuesday.
On the long road, won't turn around. Secrets in the shadows, lost and found. Truth in every echo, loud and clear. Keep on with the long road, no